Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Yvonne, and in this video I want to talk about how dictatorship is being shoved down the throat of tribes in Kenya that are generally more consensus and more democratic. So we are looking at Kenya, which is a country in East Africa. So one of the biggest issues when it comes to governance in Kenya is the forcing of dictatorship on the tribes in Kenya. And when you look at the tribes that are located in that particular country, these tribes historically are more democratic. They're not 100% democratic because they don't have, traditionally they don't have written constitutions, for example. They don't have the Council of Elders that make decisions do not include women. They also have the issue of hierarchy. Basically, this Council of Elders, there's an age limit that excludes, for example, younger people from joining some of this Council of Elders. But basically, a lot of these tribes have Council of Elders and a sort of consensus system of making decisions. With that said, there is the issue of colonization. So when colonization came in and when these countries basically gained independence, there was a need for the colonizers to control the people. So what they did is attempted to dismantle most of the Council of Elders and replace them with chiefs. So that's where chiefs and sub-chiefs come in. The issue was about controlling those communities. When it comes to the issue of, in terms of administration and taking the power from the Council of Elders. Now, in 2025, Kenya as a country is not, the people there, they are not socialized for dictatorship. And that's why they're able to protest. They're not socialized for embracing dictatorship because this is a foreign concept to them. And this has to do with historically how they have been managing their affairs in the African sort of setup. So when you look at the traditional setup of Kenyan tribes, of tribes that are located in Kenya, there is no way their system of governance translates in the Western civilization. There is no way it translates into a dictatorship. Meaning you're having people with personality disorders ruling that country and forcing people into dictatorship. And that's where the issue is coming in. So, of course, the traditional way of doing things has some issues, and so does the modern way of doing things, the more westernized way of doing things. And there needs to be a consensus that needs to build up among these people because that's how they operate. Basically, these are democracies being forced to be dictatorship. And when this is not addressed, they are always going to have issues. And this has to be addressed in terms of how leaders are elected. The issue of voter fraud and that happens there, and forcing these people who would naturally not get picked to be the spokespeople of these tribes. So there needs to be, of course, free, fair elections, and among other things, to be able for all these tribes to feel represented. Otherwise, you're gonna have, Kenya does have a secessionist movement, and the secessionist movement comes from people who are completely rejecting this dictatorship, because them accepting this dictatorship is basically a betrayal of their heritage, of their cultural heritage. And the problem with the people who are part of the secessionist movement is they know for sure, they have seen other countries operating in a democracy. They see America, they see Europe, they see all these countries that are democracies. So they have, and some of them have lived in these countries. So they know these truths to be self-evident. It's self-evident to them that dictatorship is not the way to go. They're not able to embrace dictatorship. And as such, they are pushing for the secession. And secession basically is dividing the country into people who want to go with dictatorship, they can have their own country, and the ones who want to go with democracy, they can have their own country. That is the secessionist movement that is going on. that is basically sort of underground in the Kenya political theater arena, if you may say. So tribes in East Africa are generally not dictatorship. They are more democratic, and that is the direction I believe that Kenyans should go towards. Free, fair elections, and all these other things that need to be put in place to have a more civil sort of society. And this is based on also their embracing of their cultural heritage of consensusship and basically teamwork and more of sort of negotiation type of governance system. But they do need to have that. They do need to have a democratic system of government, and they do need to have opposition, because there are also ideological issues there that, you know, for example, the people who support democracy and people who support dictatorship, that is that is ideological. But for most Kenyans, they are socialized to be democratic. That's it for this video. I know it's a hot take, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.